High energy.
Very active. Couldn't hold him down. He'd squirm out of your arms, didn't want to get cuddled and fondled, and he just wanted to play hard, play fast.
I was on a BMX bike racing team, so he did pedal bike racing and traveled around, and we did all that with him. Well, he really started painting at about 8 because one of his teachers in grammar school was into teaching art, Mrs. Johnson, and she got all the kids started, and he showed a lot of talent early, but Doug was a funny kid that way. He was high energy, but at the end of the day, he would go in his bedroom, close the door, and just draw.
And then you didn't see him till dinner. You had to drag him out of there to eat dinner. I answered. I could tell in his voice, just the sound of his voice, it was dire. I immediately handed the phone to his father, and Doug said,
"Dad, I'm dying." So I immediately asked what was wrong. He said, "I thought I had the flu. My hands and feet are all purple right now." So I told him right off the bat, "Call 911 now." And that was the extent of the phone call.
It was meningococcemia, which is an infection, a bacterial infection of the blood that can present very acutely in otherwise healthy patients and be extremely and have a lot of morbidity and mortality associated with the disease, particularly if not caught early and started on treatment early. It can be such a fulminant disease that the mortality is really high from this particular infection. Mr. Perine was actually admitted the last couple days of my rotation, just towards the very end of May, when we were about to rotate off. But even those very first 2 to 3 days that we were able to take care of him were probably some of the most critical and most interesting experiences that I've had through the whole month in the intensive care unit. He had presented to the emergency department with just 2 to 3 days, very acutely, of feeling very, very sick, and particularly started noticing purple spots on his feet and his hands.
Up in ICU, they finally let us get into ICU. It might have been 1:30 or 2:30, and that was quite a traumatic experience too, because you go in there, all the doors are closed. They made us put masks on and all that to go in and see him.
We were just worried. We were hoping that, given that he was a young, healthy guy previously, that he'd be able to pull through this, but it was definitely challenging, particularly that first night where his blood tests were showing a lot of heart damage as well, and we just didn't know if he was going to be able to pull through, and it just takes time.
We would have to go home at night and sleep, and you don't really sleep. You're just kind of half awake, and when the phone rings, your phone rings, and you keep it right by the head of the bed. I mean, it's just, you never know if it's going to be good or bad sometimes.
He continued to need support, breathing support, as well as dialysis, as well as blood pressure support, and to the point where we probably reached the very maximum that we have to offer. He wasn't able to get enough oxygen in his body, despite having him breathe 100% oxygen, in addition to medicines that would help him relax. Where we even had to order a proning bed, which that was honestly one of the last-ditch efforts to treat hypoxemia, low oxygen level.
The Wednesday morning, the night after they put him in the bed, we got a call early, 6 o'clock in the morning. And anytime it was at 6 in the morning, it usually wasn't good. And so I grabbed the phone and was just kind of still half woke up, and it was Dr. Mackey. And I just said, "Do I have to come?" That's the first thing I said, "Do we have to come?" You tell her what she said.
She says, "Oh, no, this time it's good news." And we couldn't believe it. It's never been good news.
I was in the ICU here for a total of 21 days. My family credits a lot was the use of the rotoprone bed, which is a bed that protects you from all your IVs and stuff, padded in and turns you upside down, so all the fluid leaves the back of your lung. After 3 days in the bed, my oxygen level never bounced like that again. It would wander down in the 80s and come back relatively quickly. They removed the ventilator about 2 days after I was out of the bed. 2 things pretty much resulted in my survival was, the type of shape I was in to begin with. I mean, my roommates for him to survive the first 4 days. And then exceptional performances by individuals. Candy Hall, the Ricardo team, and other nurses that went above and beyond.
You know, it's more of a constantly hoping for good than it is thinking of bad.
You find it in your guts to stay focused and to stay calm, and so when he comes out the other side, he is himself again and enjoying life as he did prior.
I mean, basically, we went 17 days not knowing if he was going to be alive 10 minutes later.
I had less than 40% chance of survival at times, and people kept going, so I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. I always think I'm jaded and cynical, but when it comes to doing something, I guess I'm not very easily quittable either. So, yeah, 100% makes a difference in not giving up.